Stop number 3 of the 2020 Solo Pro Series Bass Tournament on Table Rock Lake, presented by Godfather's Pizza, located in Springfield, Ozark, Nixa, and Battlefield. MS Propane, 6 locations giving you easy delivery, convenient payment, and friendly budgeting. Best Automotive, serving Springfield since 1996 with ASE certified technicians. Partnering with Sage Electric. Stay tuned and enjoy the action.
I'll catch him sooner or later. Fire it up now.
Tournament conditions presented by Bass Pro Shops, O'Reilly Auto Parts, and partner with Snow Terminators. Water level still 14 feet above pool, with water temperatures rising above 85 degrees. Made it challenging for anglers and gave bass a lot of hiding places.
Flipping willows that were in like 15 foot of water. You have to drop your bait all over the bottom, but you get bit in every one of them. It's just hard to get them out.
I thought you was about to set the hook.
Well, I had that happen a lot yesterday. You'd sit there and shake it in the end, and they pick it up and then drop it. You know it's good here.
Yeah.
Oh. It's really clear. Going, the water's a little bit dirtier, so that might have been the key. This point just sticks out here where the current has to go around it. If they're running any water, I figured it'd be a good place to pull up and catch them real quick.
Because the water's still.
Do what?
Because the water's still in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably actually moving. See, this river here is the one that goes, if you go far enough up this, if you go all the way to the end of this river, you'll hit Beaver Lake Dam.
Oh, yeah.
So they're letting water out of that lake, so this one's going to experience, it's going to have current.
Yeah.
But where we were, where we were just at is the James River, so it flows past the mouth of it, so it backs up sometimes. So the water flowing out of here will push back up that river. That's what makes it tough. I almost guarantee you that's what happened this morning. That's why they didn't bite very good. I think dropping around these things enough times, you're eventually going to get bit, right?
Yeah. Somewhere in there.
They're not out there on the points up there where we just came from, at least. So they got to be somewhere. Hard pre-fishing something as high as it is. You don't want to beat it up, you know. And then my keeper bites are spread out miles and miles apart. It's just it's hard to cover it on tournament day.
You'd figure they'd be on that flat stuff.
I beat the crap out of the flats, and everything in my quality bites have been coming where this just comes steep, and you can get right up on the bank, and they're like a foot off the bank. But the boat's in, 16, 17 foot of water. That whole thing was just full of shad. You could walk across it. There's no keepers in there. I probably caught, it was loaded with Kentuckies. I probably caught a dozen Kentuckies out of there, but no keepers. I did see one big one in there. Oh, dang it. Oh. I saw one big one in there, probably close to 5 pounds, just like corralling them. It was something else. Guess he was just keeping them close. When he got hungry, he's gonna go get himself a snack. You gotta set the hook on them still. I've done that before. I thought it was bluegill. You can set the hook on a 5-pounder. Dang, missed something bigger than crap. He's spitting it out as I was jerking. You see him pull me down?
Mm-hmm.
Sucker's still on there. Digging tube. Yes! Awesome. He hung me up and I was shaking it and he just swam out right there.
Wasn't beating the crap out of it. I hooked shortfish around. There's got to be a keeper somewhere, but I guess not.
Might circle around and hit it right now.
See if they just circled around.
Yeah, let it calm down a second. They ain't leaving that tree. Oh, little bitty sucker. Dadgummit.
Got a keeper?
No. They're asking about what trees they get on. Obviously, we just caught a big one and then had another bite out of. There's 2 oak trees, so every oak tree I see, you can bet we'll be making a lap around it. Make sense?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Making a pattern.
Because they're liking it for some reason. It's just all that shade. Not quite.
Yesterday, I mean, I probably caught 40, 45 fish yesterday.
Jeez.
I had 6, but there were only 6 keepers, but 2 of them were good.
Whoa! Stay in here, boy. What do you think? Is he?
Yeah.
It's a touch. My man.
Like, there should be a fish there.
Yeah. Some of that stuff you find though right now you think it would be. Like how's the now fish right there? Oh. Come on.
throw it on.
Well, if that was a big fish, it would have been worth it.
Yeah.
I fish a chug bug a lot. It's probably like one of my favorite topwater baits. And those big fish, they attack it so aggressive, and it's such a small, it actually pushes the bait up, and they just whiff it. Some of the big ones I've actually had before where they will knock the chug bug like a foot in the air, and then it'll hit it as soon as it hits the water. Yeah.
Oh, another big one. Oh God, come in here. Oh, that was ugly. Right there. Oh boy. Yes! Daggone! Look down his throat. Worm. Yeah!
Yeah, that's a sign of life. Something to you.
Bye-bye, Kentucky. I think he's skinny, isn't he?
Yeah.
Put my measuring stick right back here. I'm gonna beam them. Kentucky's bigger, isn't he?
Yeah.
Table Rock Lake weigh-in supported by Tag Fishing, Crank Wraps, Crocagator, Float Trip Pickles, Cow Coast Fishing, and Ozark Mountain Popcorn.
What was the pattern you come up with today?
It was fishing the old shoreline with that the real deal.
Now, are you fishing deep?
Yeah, I had the boat probably 25 foot. Was fishing 15 on out. They're all smallmouth except for one Kentucky.
Did you find this pattern in practice, or did you have to abandon it?
I found that around 11 o'clock today.
Was you dragging anything deep, or was you doing something
Honestly, caught everything on Shaky Head.
main lake
With
type?
What's that?
Main lake.
Yeah. Well, actually, I caught the first one down in Baxter up against the point.
All right, here's one water.
Get them?
I got a limit. Nothing big though. What a day. It was fun out there, that's for sure. Had 20, 25 keepers.
Well, how you catching them on high water, high and hot water?
Drop shot. I caught every one of them on a drop shot and a spoon.
So you're graphing them?
Yeah, about 30, 40, even some were 50 feet deep. You can catch them on treetops, docks, it doesn't really matter.
So do you have a strategy for graphing them? Like, do you pretty much know where you want to go?
I really like to fish on points if I can, but it was so busy today with the boat traffic, so I kind of went back in some pockets and fished some standing timber. They seem to really be on the standing timber.
Do you stay in a certain area that you like, Kimberling area?
I stayed around Kimberling pretty much all day.
Do you lose any? A lot of people say they lost a lot on topwater.
I never had a topwater bite. I tried. I lost some drop shotting, but I don't think they were any bigger.
Cam, what were you doing?
Video. I started out shallow. Well, not really shallow, but the fish were kind of shallow. Good, with a little pro tip from my good friend Bobby Roberts here. I struggled in practice, and he kind of helped me out. And then I went deep and cold everything out. You know, by about noon, and I picked up a flipping stick and went flipping and caught a couple flipping.
So how do you piece part all the trees and the high water? Do you?
Oh, I was just looking for some certain willow trees, you know, ones that were just kind of barely underneath the water, and I caught probably 20 keepers out deep, and only a couple out of the bushes, but lost a couple good ones. Lost about a 5-pound smallmouth and a 4 or 5 pound black out deep, just through a crankbait, typical, you know. But majority of them came on a motion swim jig, a new one. And then the other ones came on a crank wrap 10XD and a custom football jig.
Any particular colors that you were throwing today on the crankbait and the?
The crankbait was, of course, wrapped with a white crappie wrap. The jig colors was smoked peanut butter and jelly, and then I had an old root beer twin tail on there, and on the football jig. And then this morning, that swim jig from Motion, that was just pure white.
Did you target in a certain area of the lake that you like? That?
Yeah, I was up White River. Most all day was up at White River.
Well,
Water's more stained up there.
All right, so the front of the bush is like, is it pretty deep then, obviously? 'Cause
Yeah,
the
about
water's
15 foot.
And you just kind of hopping it along.
You could actually just go down the bank and just fish. There's really no technique, but it seemed like I found the bigger fish yesterday on the points, but today I think they went out deeper.
Second cast this morning, I cranked one up. I had two of them follow it up. And one was, they're both Kentuckys, and they were both about the same size. And I got the one, and I thought, man, I got to get the other one. So I sat there and I made a million casts the same direction trying to catch them. Nothing. So I thought, well, maybe I'll switch baits, throw something different. So I started throwing a big swim bait, and changed directions, started throwing over the point the other direction, and then got a big smallie then. And then and I just switched back and forth from a crankbait to a swim bait.
Any particular swim bait that you like?
Mega bass.
Mega bass?
Yeah.
Like, how big? Like, you know, it's pretty unique. Throw it around here, this time of year.
It's about a 6-inch swim bait. Yeah.
Diving pretty deep, or, you know?
Yeah, I'm letting it sink. I was sitting in 30 foot of water, throwing up to 15, 16 foot of water.
Wow.
So I had to keep my boat with the crankbait. I had to keep my boat in 26 to 16 feet of water as long as I was in there and just kind of parallel in the bluffs.
So you fishing over suspended fish?
That's what I'm thinking, yeah. Yeah.
How'd you catch them in this hot, high water?
On a Carolina rig, brush hog.
Are you tipping the brush hog?
Do what?
Are you tipping the chartreuse or?
Yeah.
Is that kind of the pattern you stuck with all day? And
Yeah, that's the only way I could figure out to catch them.
know this lake real well, or are you fishing a lot?
A little bit. Yesterday was the first tournament of the year I fished on Table Rock, so. Ain't he pretty?
Yes.
I like it. Now, do you fish around the Kimberling area? Did you stay James? You want to say?
I was up to James today.
Lucky and find them schooling on top water. It was a long, hard day with about 15 minutes of fun.
I was about to say, so you caught them all 15 minutes this morning?
Oh, yep. And other than that, it was a long.
So any certain top water that you like to throw?
This time of year, I try to throw a spook a lot, and then I'll follow it up with a swim bait.
Targeting Main Lake?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday, we fished a Joe Bass yesterday, and they were pulling a little bit of water out of the dam, and those fish would pile up on the points a little bit more. But today, I couldn't find them out there. And I just happened to pull back in a pocket and see some shad busting, and tossed over there and got these 5.
I mean, what do you do the rest of the day? Just sit down and eat pizza and after 15 minutes?
No, that's what I mean by it was a long, hard day. It was I did sit down and eat at one point in time, because once it slowed down, I ended up missing a couple other fish that would have helped me, but they throwing a spook, they threw it before it got to the boat. One of them was a good one, but such is life.
Now, is that all you caught, or did you catch a few more and just coal, or?
I cooled once. Just once.
Connor Cunningham.
Good job, guys.
Second big bass was 4.28. Ron Foss. Ron? We also got a tackle pack from Crockett Gator and a $236 check. Big bass today was 6.23. Mike Smith. Thank you, Mike. Oh, hang on. Hang on.
Oh,
you're out there too, buddy.
Here, Mike, show me
Ain't that pretty?
All right, left.
Mike Smith from Harrison, Arkansas. I got first place today. Had 16.81, I think. I started out this morning with top water. Caught 4 fish on top water this morning, 4 keepers. And it just died after the sun got up good, and I just picked up a jig and went to flipping bushes and just flipped hard all day. And luckily, I finally flipped in the right kind of bush, and I caught a 623. I had her hung up in that bush. It was chaos for a long time, but I got her out, and that made the difference. I didn't think she was that big till I got her in and weighed her. She was 623. That's big, and I ain't caught one that big on Table Rock in quite some time. So I just got lucky.
Any particular areas that you were targeting?
I was in the state park area. I stayed around State Park all day. Within sight of State Park all day.
Did target Main Lake, or just kind of go in pockets?
No, I really targeted kind of Main Lake stuff. I didn't really go back in any creeks, not very far anyway. I went in the mouth of a few, Beardsley and a few of those, but I didn't go way back in the backs. I couldn't get bit back there to practice at all. So I just kind of stayed Main Lake pockets.
What time did your topwater bite stop?
About 8:30, I was done. 8:30, 9 o'clock, it was done. I mean, it was toast. There was nothing left.
Now, any size of that jig that you'd recommend someone fishing? Because I know the water's real high.
Do what?
Any size of your jig size?
I was flipping a 9/16 jewel jig, same one I was using at Trenton.
Didn't seem to matter.
Didn't seem to matter. No. No.
Well, what are you going to do with your money?
I won't have any problem. I fish. It's like fishing's like rodeo, and you don't have no trouble getting rid of money. Yeah.
Mike, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Tom Statler, second place, had 1592 today. Started off this morning, I ran up to James, started throwing a crankbait, caught a couple of keepers first thing. There was some fish surfacing, but I couldn't catch them on top water. Couldn't get them to do anything. Caught a couple on a biffle bug just outside the bushes, and then switched to a Carolina rig brush hog with the tails dipped in chartreuse, and then 3/4 ounce sinker, and that's what I threw the rest of the day. Replaced everything I had.
Do you have certain points that you like up there in the James that you're point hopping?
I was point hopping with wherever the brush was that I could get, just on the outside of or just on the inside of the brush. So some of the fish were on the outside of the brush, some of them were on the inside. But
Did you pick up flipping stick at all?
I did. I caught a bunch of fish flipping trees, but they were all little. Didn't catch anything keepers.
Do you think they're all in their summer patterns, or they're out there main lake?
No, they haven't moved out yet. These fish are still on the old bank line. The ones I'm catching are.
They scattered around, so if you catch one, would you go back to that?
If you caught one, you'd catch 4 or 5. And there was one rock pile I ran into. I probably caught 15 or 20 Kentuckies off of. There was a whole school of them there. There was probably 4 or 5 keepers in that group, but none of them helped me. They just kept eating it.
Did it matter that like the bank looked like chunk rock, pea gravel?
It had to be chunky. If it was just like pea gravel and you couldn't feel the rocks as the sinker was moving through it, there was nothing there.
Do you have a real long leader on your Carolina rig?
Nope, really short. Probably a foot.
Tom, congratulations
Thank
again.
you.
James Bailey, and I got 3rd place. Started out this morning down the lake, little south of State Park. We had fished a tournament yesterday, and we were fortunate enough to do decent in it. And we had just happened on a group of fish, and so I knew they were in the area. I knew they were there. Went back, and to be honest, for about the first hour or two, never had a bite. I was just waiting for them to come up. Once the wind kicked up a little bit, they did, and it was really just a product of luck today for me. Took about 15 minutes to have what I had on top with the spook, and I followed it up with the swim bait. Caught a couple of those. I think I culled maybe one time.
Was you around shad at all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They were chasing shad.
And a lot of main lake stuff, or?
It was main lake. I mean, it was a little off. It was just main lake pocket, pretty much.
Well, you said you caught them yesterday. Was those the fish that were still there today?
I think it was the same fish. I mean, I couldn't be for sure, but I knew they were in the area.
Gotcha.
And it took longer than I wanted. I was about to give up on them, but.
What'd you catch them all on?
A Zara spook.
Zara spook. Any particular color you like?
I call it Christmas tree. I don't know what it's really called.
Okay.
It's got glitter on the side of it. I know that.
Any particular line size you like to throw it on? Some people throw a braid.
I mean, me, I'm not too overly picky about that, especially for top water. I just use 15-pound big game mono, unless I'm throwing a frog or something. But for a spook, I just use mono.
And do you have to jump around a lot?
Well, after they finished, I moved around a lot, and it was a long day. And I didn't catch much else after that.
Well, congratulations.
I appreciate it, sir.